least 5 more minutes. I was mentally preparing myself. So if I'm a little nervous, just ignore it. Well, first off, I would want to give honor to all of you, all of TCT. I wouldn't be in this position or standing here having gleaned so much from this trip if it wasn't for your just constant prayers and financial support. To have been on the receiving end of your guys' generous spirit is such a blessing to me, and I know you've blessed others from it. So thank you. I'm so grateful for that. I didn't know what I was going to say for the longest time. There, I'm still thinking, I'm going to have to give a mission statement when I get back. When am I going to? I was like a month into this, I'm like, I wrote it all down, and I texted it to Pastor last night. I'm like, is this okay? And he's like, yeah. I said, okay, sure. So starting off with my trip, I want to give honor where it's due, and that's to the pastor of the church I attended while I was in Malaysia. It's the Church of the Pentecostals of Kuala Lumpur, Bishop Liao and his sweet wife, Sister Shireen Liao, and their entire family. To say they see a every single day, exactly what I needed while I was over there. It was such a comfort. Like I was with me, and I got to see all their kids, the family that joked around with me. It was so, it was just such a comfort to me. I honor them immensely, and I consider them part of my life. So, I never by myself before. I'm 19. I was the one responsible for what house I was living in. I didn't have the spiritual covering of being in my parents' house. And if you're a young person or you live with your parents, don't take that for granted. When you move out, you feel the difference immediately. But it was in this aloneness that some things quickly came to light for me. I was living in an apartment by myself. I didn't have anyone there. Even though I was attending church there on Sundays, and to summarize it, the traffic over there is really bad, especially in the heart of the city. So they don't get to be able to all come together on a Wednesday night or throughout the week and just casually meet up with church members. If they wanted to get together at 7, it would be almost midnight before everyone got there. That's how bad traffic can get. So I didn't have that. And the most I was getting was church on Sundays, and then the sporadic meetup with a few people that lived around my area for Bible studies and fellowship. I would have to do Bible studies on Zoom most of the time. But it wasn't enough for me. I had a personal walk and a personal relationship with God already, obviously, but I've never before had the opportunity to build a home with Him. It wasn't enough for my spiritual appetite to just get Him on a Sunday. I wouldn't survive out there if that's all I got week to week. I was fighting my flesh and other people's spirits and just circumstances of life every day. There was a decision I had to quickly make when I got over there, where each day I had to go into my apartment living room and I had to turn off the distractions, turn on some random sermon or praise music, and get into a place of worship and sacrifice. Every week, I was turning my living room and my bedroom into an altar for God. I had to bend myself and press my face to the floors most days just to know I was digging and making the room for God that He deserved in my personal space. Because it's easy to give yourself and your time to God on a Sunday where you're at a pretty church and the stage is already set with the music and the great message from your pastor or your speaker. But at the same time, you can slide into a once-a-week routine, and suddenly you're not really giving anything to God at that point. You're just having an emotional response. But to willingly spend time with God and let Him break and mold you without pushing or probing, where it's just you in the whisper of His presence, is another thing entirely. And it's in those moments where you start to have true growth in your walk with God and in your own personal character. I will never forget on May 15th, I was praying in my apartment randomly during the day, and God suddenly spoke to me out of the blue. I have not called you to this place for this people, that these people are your sole mission and goal. What I have provided is a pocket of grace and growth. I am giving you the space to be alone in these 3 months, to grow you into the adult and heir that I have called you to be. God gave me that space to mature and to learn how to seek his face in my alone time. Some of you are bitter at God right now because you can't see the opportunity he's provided right in front of you. You need to realize he's been giving you what he's given me, a pocket of grace and growth. You want to move past that situation that's been weighing you down, make an altar in your room. You keep asking for change and maturity in your character and spiritual walk, but you don't seem to grasp that change with God isn't an instantaneous thing. He provides pockets of time for you. You yourself have to make the choice every day to build that altar in your room or in your living room and let God work on you. Young people, stop riding the coattails of your parents' walk with God and start developing your own. You aren't going to survive in this world not having one. I wouldn't have survived if I didn't build one. You have your own individual destiny and calling, and it's time to start walking and acting like it. He's been calling young and old people in this church for months to dig deeper and make time for him besides Sunday morning. Are you going to invite God into your home or not?